726.2 hectares in 34 forest reserves. That's according to Samuel Abu, Jinapo Lands and Natural Resources Minister. Why it became necessary to tell us this at this time is another matter. President commissions Kia vehicle assembly plant, and that's what we have by way of newspapers. Good morning, Helen. Good morning, William. Well, I'm greater than Accra, as always. Greater than Accra. And how was your night, Helen? Was it alone? Were you on your own?
Too bad.
Yeah.
How was my night? My night wasn't too bad. Keeping It Real was on last night. If you joined us, it was an extended version all the way up until 8:30. We're talking about love spells and love potions and people who have been under the for boys or for girls spell. And we had some people actually calling in to share their experiences. So I had a very eventful night just before I went to bed. Some very harrowing accounts of people who've been through it. Love potions. But I slept all right. Good to be here this morning. And the papers are here. So I'll run through what I have and then we'll take some details, of course. The Ghanaian Times this morning. Ghana to become automobile hub of West Africa. President predicts, and he's pictured here in a very nice suit, I must say. Navy suit. You can see him looking sharp there, gentlemen. What do you make of this? He's looking very good. He's looking very good. All right, let's move on. No lease permit granted to small-scale mining companies to operate in any forest reserve. Also, OSP investigates Professor Frimpong Boateng Galamsey report. And Galamsey finds AG prosecutes some 119 criminal cases nationwide, 727 persons involved since January 2021. The Custodian newspaper this morning has this to say: we have enough food for SHS students. Education Minister is pictured here as saying, he says there is enough food for the students.
Well, in the beginning, he denied that there was food shortage at all. Later, he came to acknowledge that there was food shortage. And then it took him another 3 weeks before the food got to them. In fact, during that time, we still had to be sending monies and all of that to make sure that the children had something to eat. So I would take what he's saying with a pinch of salt.
I think the parents also know the deal.
Yes. If there's enough food, why do you need to announce it? Let the children go back to school and feel it, because in fact, the children in school now, as they speak, what are they being fed with? So if you say there's enough food, let it reflect, so that the children, when we go visiting or when we go asking or when we make phone calls to their house masters and house mistresses to connect with them, they tell us that, oh, daddy, mommy, they are feeding as well. It should not lie in his mouth to tell us that they have enough food, because the children right from the beginning know or knew what enough food is.
Right.
So it should not lie in his mouth to tell us. We should feel it. The children should tell us.
Well, also on the front page of the Custodian, Parliament approves over 750 million US dollars for projects, and the minority is coming out to speak. I think they're feeling the pressure from the citizenry, because people are asking, what is your purpose if every time things are just sliding by you left and right? But what they're saying is that, well, this one is a task for all of us, holding the executive to account. We'll talk about that, of course, as we progress. A lot for you and I, as I say.
We will all hold the executive account. The people who sit on the fence, but in Parliament, they have a job to do.
That's right.
When they were whipped into line to appear before Parliament, I'm sure they knew that they were going to talk about loans and approve the loans. They needed a certain number, a simple majority to be able to do it.
That's right.
Do they have the full complement? That's the side of the majority, because now Kumewu is no longer there.
Yeah.
So the numbers are no longer in favor of whatever. It's dropped, because if what do you call it? As in North guy.
Yeah.
Right. As in North guy. What's his name? Kwesi is not in Parliament. Baswa, may his soul rest in peace, is no longer there. The numbers have been drilled down, so they have no excuse. They could have decided not to go at all, but they were there. And then when you finish, you come and blow hot air to who?
And that's what the majority have been saying all the while, that whilst the minority has complained about, over borrowing, if you will, they've been there and approved all the loans that have come before them.
That's right.
So,
they're blowing hot air to who?
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it today. Change your 2020 candidate, EIU, tells the NDC. I believe they're speaking
about John Mahama.
About John Mahama. And you've got him here pictured here, standing next to Dr. Kwabena Dufo, who is also an NDC 2024 presidential hopeful. And if you joined us yesterday, you would have got bits of that exclusive with Dr. Kwabena Dufo. He says he's got a good relationship with former president, and he's also loyal to the party that he's in. But this is his time. He says he's here to wipe the tears of the Ghanaian citizens. He says he's here to come and give us some relief, wipe our tears.
Nanado said the same thing, Grandpa. Today we are crying more than anybody.
No, he said he's bringing, Ahoto.
Nanado says, me mbambe dada mo. Me base dokuna mutono 1 cedi. Me babe teso full price me created juma. Where the job day? Genki now before cities.
Kai.
Full.
It's in a marginal decline this morning.
Somebody drew my attention that in the past, an Olonka or an America of corn or maize used to sell at the same price we're selling a ball of kinky today, 5 cedis. Olonka, a whole Olonka that can make about 6-7 balls of kinky is now the price of 1 ball of kinky.
Isn't it shocking?
Shocking.
Anyway, that's what I have.
Electric shop from TV. William, good morning.
Good morning. Truth, accuracy every day. That is daily graphic.
Every day.
Again, we still have the story on the Kia assembly plant. President commissions that one. And the parliament approves 750 million financing agreements. Jail at 2 ASEAN. AG tells courts, and Galamsey wipes out 4,700 hectares. 34 forest reserves affected, and cabinet sanctions special military crackdown. Issues in Frimpong Boating's report already underproved. That's according to the OSP, Office of the Special Prosecutor. On the back page of the Daily Graphic, Central University refurbishes Kateku Library. You know Kateku?
Yeah, Kateku, Kaneshi Secondary Technical School. Our neighbors.
Old one. Wager Dam spillage. Municipal NADMO advises residents downstream to relocate. That's the Daily Graphic. We'll get into the details shortly. Daily Guide this morning. Science labs improve STEM education and send Ato Asian to prison. Attorney General to the courts. Parliament approves 6 loans, and Lassa fever outbreak over. That's according to the Ghana Health Service. Ghana, Japan to deepen cooperation, and Nana outdoors Kia assembling plant.
Okay.
Are we deepening cooperation or are we begging? Let's be real.
Well,
we are begging.
I always say yes. Because he doesn't. He's not. What is he getting in return for giving you that much?
Oh yeah.
That's the question we fail to ask most of the time.
Yeah.
What is he getting in return? Because nobody is Father Christmas, especially China.
Yeah.
And I've always said that, look, we took China to go and show them Sino-Hydro. We went to go and show them our bauxite. And we told them how much aluminum they can get from it. And how much if they gave us, we would give them that. So they know that we have. It's just that we are not serious as a people. And we don't know how to manage what we have. So, I'm cooperating with you. But what is he getting in return?
Listen, the Chinese have toiled to get to where they are. They're not about to, like you said, be Father Christmas.
No.
Giving out freebies. They've done the hard graft, the unsexy, uncomfortable stuff. They've done their dues, paid their dues to get where they are.
Yeah.
And so when, people are asking them to forgive the dead, I add to those calls because, we beg. But also when they say, listen, IMF, World Bank, you should do something nice for them.
More so when they don't celebrate Christmas. You'd expect them to be Father Christmas.
Let's dive into this one.
Joke.
It's been a hot topic, and of course we've been following this trail with Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa as he has been uncovering what he calls expose after expose. Katindrano. Well, the latest in that is that the court has dismissed the contempt application against Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa, and he's been awarded some 10,000 Ghana cedis in cost. The Accra High Court yesterday dismissed a contempt application brought against him. The court, presided over by Justice Charles Dankwa, awarded 10,000 cedis cost against the applicant. Now, Justice Dankwa stated that the applicant failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the alleged contempt contemnor. I don't know if I've said that right. Contemnor.
Yeah.
Thank you. Contemnor dragged the administration of justice into disrepute. The court said there was no evidence on record that the lawmaker was served with the contempt motion and that the person who allegedly served the respondent was not a judiciary approved bailiff pursuant to a directive issued by the Chief Justice in November 2022. So some much needed education
where are they
there.
from? Where are they from?
I don't know if the story goes on to let us know, but remember at the time there was that question of who actually served him. Did they have the mandate to do so? And that was the back and forth.
Well,
the court has
if
made
the
that
court
clear.
decided on the matter based on the fact that he was not properly served or he was not served by people who were supposed to have served him, then really those two who went there, because my information from Metro TV was that some people were actually put on the line. Their jobs were put on the line because of what had happened. Because how did they get in the first place? And how, because these are our guests. Once they are within your quarters, they are your guests.
That's
and you
right.
must protect them. So and I know that some people's jobs were put on the line. So those two individuals, I think we should take an interest in them. Who sent them? How did they get the document? What was their motive? And what was the overall intention? We need to start asking the questions.
That's very important.
Yes.
Because then, as we always say, these instances give us an opportunity not just to knowledge share and get some information, but also to check some of these things that are going on. You may have been served by persons who are in fact not even authorized to do so that we can add some layers to the conversation, get some education, so that you and I know that nobody can just come and throw documents in your face and summon you to court. They have to do so the right way. But for the uninitiated, Reverend Jemfi sued Mr. Ablakwa in February this year and filed an interlocutory injunction to bar him from running commentary on alleged criminal activities about the cathedral. There was some 2.6...
Reverend Edu Jemfi.
Edu Jemfi, that's right.
The other name is what? Oh, they are not the same people. They are not the same people. They are not the same people.
We're waiting for those details to unfold.
It's fine.
But
you leave it there. William, why are you smiling at me?
This morning you want to fight.
No, not a big fight.
Why shouldn't I smile?
I'm saying that Kusi Boating and Edu Jemfi, are they the same? Is it the same person?
But
We
the
have to
same,
uncover
the same
that.
mother.
The same mother. But no, the same father,
There were
but
two
different mothers.
mothers. Allegedly.
The same.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
Mother, father,
Yeah, FM station.
But issues concerning the cathedral, I feel as though we've been a bit too lax with government about this. A bit too lax. Just yesterday, Honorable Kuchutu Ablakwa released another, what he calls exposés, another set of intel information about what is uncovered, about how the cathedral and Bible Museum have been registered in the States, and so on and so forth. They visited, he says, the premises that are listed as the address of the National Cathedral, and it didn't quite check out, according to him.
What people generally say out there, that the media, civil society organizations, people who were vocal in the past, have all been very lenient on this government. Flip the coin, close your eyes, and if John Mahama or even J. Kufuor or J. Yatta Mills or Rollins had done this, taking money in, you can say the Rollins era was just trying to defrost itself from the eyes of the revolution and all of that. So
That's
some
right.
of the things you were very careful what to say, because you could be picked up in the dead of the night, you could be shit bombed and whatever it is. But close your eyes under Kufuor, purely democratic. Close your eyes under Mills. Close your eyes under JM, and then say that the government lifted or took monies from the coffers without approval of any sort and dumped it into a cathedral. Just that, and see the reaction of the public and the clergy, Christian Council, Peace Council, this everybody, media, from just look at it. Now the present dispensation has enjoyed so much so that they are not even grateful anymore. The next point is to attack the press. That's what it is. They have enjoyed so much that they even now dictate the pace. Can you imagine that one person allegedly has two names, two different dates of birth, two different sets of mothers, two different this, two different that, two different that. He is the secretary to the board of trustees of the National Cathedral, God's own household. And he even now takes somebody to court over contempt. Can you imagine?
Add another layer to that, Johnny, that some 2.6 million cedis was transferred from the National Cathedral Secretariat to JNS Talent Center Limited, owned by this same individual who has 2 sets of IDs, allegedly.
The details from the US, very interesting.
Very interesting.
Addresses that Ukujeto put out and
That's
where
right.
they leading to
Warehouse,
a warehouse.
Another complex that had no
complex.
idea that that one of the tenants is in fact the Ghana Cathedral, National Cathedral. They've got no idea of that.
Much the name that we have here, and so I mean, we speak about the media, and sometimes I've always suggested that what Honorable Okujeto is doing, we should be doing as media people, because we're in this country when we've seen media people take some courses, I mean, some issues to court. You know, Komnadomo followed a certain pensioner who had issues with. So, I mean, beyond the talk, this is something that we should be doing. Because we have the capacity to pick issues, follow them, get our facts, and then go to court. If we win, fine. If we don't, at least we put the issue out there for posterity to judge us. Because just talking and just bashing, sometimes, if, I mean, the political, or if like the political elite, they wouldn't mind. I mean, there are some people who would mind, others would not mind. And it's obvious that...
You see, William, we've gotten to the point where I present documents on this, on Johnny's Bite.
Yeah.
You show documents, you show videos, and yet the government finds a way to...
So the suggestion this morning is that we put all those documents together, get some fine lawyer, and then proceed to court.
But the point...
I mean, that would be it.
Yes,
Other than that we would have done
that would be it. But then the point is that... let me leave it. Let me not say what I want to say.
Point?
No, let me not say what I want to say. Yeah, let me leave
So
it
if you
there.
are lucky and you get somebody jailed or something stopped, you know, then we are making progress.
But William, must we go that extra mile?
Yes, we should.
Because you see, the Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo that I knew in opposition, who I covered. Okay, I covered him in Ketu North and Ketu South. I covered him here in Accra. The Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo that I know, or that I knew back then, the things that he said and what is happening under him are like night and day.
You know why?
The things that are
because
happening.
people change, but we as media people shouldn't change the principles of our job.
But when you have media people, Coach Opon Nkrumah was in the trenches with us.
But now he's a politician. But you are still in the seat.
No,
as
but
a journalist.
he doesn't see himself as a politician. When he holds press conferences, colleagues.
Oh, Massa.
As
That one,
colleagues.
when he was sitting on that brown chair doing the presidential election as a what, how would you even call him? As a
Moderator, right.
For that chair looked brown, but underneath it was red, blue, and white. So
That's the French flag.
you know what I mean?
Or USA
with the elephants in the middle. But we saw brown.
Yeah, well
but
done.
now the
Yeah, well
man
done.
is a politician. But you are still here as a journalist.
Yeah, well done.
So you cannot talk about
Chale me, honestly, I think that for someone think that they say, okay, like Nanado, he tells us, bring us evidence. Bring us hardcore evidence. I want evidence. Now the evidence is before him. Evidence in the Frimpong Boateng report was put before him, and it took Frimpong Boateng to leak it out there before we started talking about it. Other than that, we wouldn't have even heard about it. They present, your own official presents a document to you with staggering evidence. This is the president who's been calling for evidence. What did he do with the evidence? He sat on it.
What I'm saying
And now
is
the
that-
question is, how many more reports has he sat on? Because not everybody would be like Frimpong Boateng who would want to come and expose it. Because Martin Abidu sent him a corruption risk assessment report on Ejapa. He failed to publish it or tell us about it. It was Martin Abidu who brought it to the media.
So I'm suggesting
Frimpong Boateng brought his to the media after 2 years. Martin Abidu brought his to the media after months.
So I'm suggesting
So what again should we do to Nana
that
Akufo-Addo?
I've told you already.
William says we should go
Look,
to court.
government that we know is judiciary, executive, the legislature,
Legislature.
parliament, and then we are the fourth estate of the
We are
world, the
supposed
realm.
to be.
So the documents that you have, you took it to one part of the government, that's the executive. It didn't act. You could take it to Parliament. You could take it to the judiciary, that's the courts, because you sit as the fourth estate of the realm, which are a very important part of the government. But you took it to one side, so you can't complain. You know what I mean? The four of us should come together to make the system run.
The one side,
and one part has seen some documents.
the
The power that to rule the country lies with one side. The power to check those rulings is there in the courts. The laws are made by Parliament.
Yeah.
So if you take it to the executive and they are not acting, you go to Parliament, because people have presented documents to Parliament where Parliament has acted, because they have supervisory, powers. You know what I mean? So
when Parliament itself invites ministers and they refuse to go, the ministers, their work,
you would
please.
have done your job.
I don't waste my time on those
You would have done your
things.
job.
I won't waste my time.
That's another matter.
The health minister. I'm coming. Hold
Waste
on.
your time on Parliament.
Hold on.
How about the
I
courts?
didn't say I won't waste my time on
Then
Parliament.
which one?
I'm saying that William attends or goes to work on a daily basis at 3FM 92.7. Now, William is summoned to appear before a panel at 3FM 92.7. William comes to work at 3FM 92.7 to do his editorial work and be on radio and all of that, but he fails to appear before the panel. And you want me to take any of those things serious?
I mean, if you are discouraged there,
Please,
let's
why wouldn't
try the
anybody?
course.
Why wouldn't anybody be discouraged?
I understand.
Why wouldn't anybody be discouraged? And I think that we must not normalize some of these things where we say that, oh, okay, let's try let's do this. The very people, and I'm saying these things because the Nanado that we knew in opposition, he gave us the impression that, look, some of these things will not pass.
And I'm saying the man is checking out.
No,
in how many months?
so we have to remind him that, look, no more. This is what you told us.
You think he doesn't know?
It was not your fear. Don't let me go Jamestown.
I definitely
you
agree
covered-
with
the way
both
you covered him.
gentlemen.
He sat in front of me, or I sat in front of him, and his spokesperson, Mr. Kwame Japan, when he wanted to be president first. They came to Cape Coast. I was a young reporter there. I wrote the stories.
Right.
So we've known him, like he always says, we know we know what he did. But I'm saying that if he's not minding us, we are talking about what we can do. Today is Press Freedom Day.
And we have dropped. Guess what? Last year we were 62. Last year we were 62 on the chart. 60 on the chart. This year we are 62.
What I'm saying is
we
that
are dipping and dropping further.
So the call is for the state to safeguard the work that we do and also protect us. But we also have to protect the national interest. And the only way we can protect the national interest is to push them to through the law. And that's why I'm happy that they are saying that they should jail Atuesian. Attorney General is working.
But I thought that he had agreed with the court
that money
to pay. No, but
but
he agreed. The court agreed.
well,
So why is the
has
Attorney
filed a
General not
motion
crying?
at the High Court in Accra seeking the imprisonment of the founder of the Capital Bank, William Atuesian. The motion filed yesterday and signed by State Attorney Evelyn Kilson followed the failure of ASEAN to meet the last Friday, April 28th, the deadline of paying 20 million Ghana cedis to the state as part of restitution agreed between him and the agency.
So he has defaulted.
Massa.
So now you see that's one leg. The Attorney General now is talking about the fact that there's a snail pace, process in courts about galamseyers and all of that.